qualifying round. His Russian rival Yevgeny Plushenko continued to dazzle. Todd Eldridge rekindled memories of his past world championship. 2001 U.S. champ Timothy Gable found his quad after recent troubles with the jump, while Canada's native son Elvis Stojko shook off the rust during his first performance of the season. The 2001 World Figure Skating Championships continue with the men's short program. For the first time in 41 years, the biggest annual event in figure skating has returned to Vancouver, British Columbia, as we welcome you back inside a sold-out General Motors place for the 2001 World Figure Skating Championships. The men's short program is already underway here. Hi again, everybody. I'm Terry Gannon. The men's title was first decided at the World Championships all the way back in 1896. Since then, only 6 men have captured 4 consecutive gold medals at Worlds or more. Russia's Alexei Yagudin is trying to become the 7th, but he's got a mountain to climb to do that. In the qualifying round, which has already taken place, Yagudin was shockingly bad. His worst performance in recent memory. He's out on the ice warming up right now. We'll have to watch him closely, though, because of that performance. Really, the performance was due to a foot injury, which he sustained a couple of days before arriving in Vancouver. It's a right foot injury. He hurt it while jogging. For more on that and his condition, right now let's go over and check in with Melissa Stark.
Terry, thanks. I'm joined by Dr. Jordan Leith, the orthopedic surgeon who has been looking after Yagudin. What exactly is the injury and how will it affect him on the ice?
He's sustained a tendinous injury to the lateral side of his foot, distal to the ankle. As far as affecting him on the ice, it may cause him some pain. It may have, bother him with some of his jumps, but we've tried to alleviate some of his pain with some local freezing, and hopefully that will allow him to skate his best.
He received those freezing injections last night, another one this morning, and one about 2 hours ago. So, Terry, his right foot will be numb while he skates, and of course there is always the chance that he can injure it further.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Peter Carruthers joins me right now. What about that as a skater to go out there and compete at a world championship with a foot that is numbed?
Well, there's a good thing about this and a bad thing. As we know, the foot has been numb, so he doesn't feel the pain that he would had he not received that injection. The bad thing is he loses a little bit of sensitivity with that injection, but he did have that this morning, and he did some quads on practice, and we've learned that he's been backstage doing his quads off the ice, so I think it could help him, actually.
There was speculation that he was going to withdraw, but so far he is in. He's set to go, he says. Not like there's no competition here. He's going to skate against Russian rival Yevgeny Plushenko, who is undefeated all season long. Todd Eldridge, the American who won in '96. He's back after a 2-year absence at the World Championships. Elvis Stojko here at home in Canada, making his season debut. He has not skated all year because of injuries. And the American champ, the quad king, Timothy Gable. As we've mentioned, the qualifying round has already taken place. That was worth 20%. The short program worth 30%. What about the required elements, Peter?
Well, you don't have to perform these required elements in a certain order, but the judges, as far as the jumps are concerned, are looking for the height, the length, and the quality of the landing on the jump.
So we're set for the short program to get underway here. Yunfei Li of China, the first skater that we will see, the 21-year-old from Harbin. Came in 4th the last 3 years at the Chinese National Championships.
This is his first trip to the Senior World Championships, opening up with a huge quadruple toe, triple toe loop combination.
It's not a bad way to start.
That's your first Worlds, no less.
Yeah. Won the bronze medal at the Junior World Championships back in '98. We saw him at the 4 Continents competition recently where he placed 8th. One more note on the qualifying round. It was put in place a few years ago by the ISU, and Yunfei Li was 6th in his qualifying group. There are 2 qualifying groups. So in effect, he is now tied for 12th overall. program, 2 minutes and 40 seconds in length, and it is all about completing the 8 required elements.
And so far, this young man is performing very well. Considering the pressure that goes along coming into your first world championship, he's managing it very well.
Peter, do you remember how you felt at your first world championship?
Yes, very intimidated, actually.
How did you do?
We placed 7th.
Not bad. Very nice. And Yunfei Li, got to be proud with his effort here in the short program. The 21-year-old receiving a nice standing ovation from some of the crowd here up in the upper recesses of this arena, which seats about 16,000 people, and it's been sold out throughout the week.
Yunfei has great explosive power. Look how nicely positioned his shoulders and arms are going into this jump. Perpendicular in the air. Wonderful. Just great strength within these 2 jumps. What a way to start. Quad, triple. And then this is the triple Lutz. Again, the arms coming in to create that rotation and a very solid landing.
And there's a look at the judges. It is a panel of 9. There is no Russian or U.S. judge on this panel, by the way. What about the deductions, Peter?
Well, these are the standard deductions on the first mark, but you got to bear in mind that if the artistry of the program is interrupted, points will come off the second mark.
Smiles all around in the kiss and cry area right now for Yunfei Li and his coaches. 2 sets of marks
for required
the first for
elements.
required elements, the second for presentation. And the first set, more important here in the short program. And now the marks.
5-6.
2 sets,
5-5.
required elements,
5-8.
and then presentation.
5-6.
Smiles all around.
5-6.
Look at the numbers for required
5-3.
elements. 5.3 up to 5.8.
5-5.
And look how
5-6.
strong the Chinese men are coming on in men's figure skating. Shenjing Li and Yunfei Li, great jumps.
And now for presentation, 5.1 to 5.6, a little bit lower, but Yunfei Li has the lead at the moment. He set the standard here in the short program for the men. That's a great way to make your debut at the Senior Worlds. But get ready to hear a lot of noise in this building in Vancouver. The Canadian champion, Emmanuel Sandhu, takes the ice when we come back.
This short program will definitely challenge him at the 4 Continents Cup. He placed 13th in the short, so he really needs to hold himself together. Starting off, quadruple toe loop right here. Leaning in the air, caused the step out. Forward takeoff on the triple axel. He has a combination here, and he only does a single.
You know, the crowds here, as skating crazy as they are in Canada, it's affected all the skaters, and I think in many ways raised the level of the skating so far. But for the Canadian skaters, they have not been able to go anywhere here in town without just being mobbed. Sandhu won the Canadian crown this season. Of course, Elvis Stojko did not compete because of injuries, but Emmanuel was brilliant. Received a standing ovation for his effort and a 6.0 for technical merit.
Really nice speed on this camel spin. Look at the position, the stretch, and then following through with the change camel. average is right there. The movement's nice going across the ice, but in this short program, Terry, as you know, when you miss those jumps, the deductions just add up. Look at the unusual position there. Hard to spin in that position. Oh, he knows. Step out on the quad and then a single on the axle. Really falling short in the jumps.
He placed 4th in his qualifying group. This is a young guy who was slated as one of Canada's next great skating stars since the '98 Canadian Nationals. Hasn't quite reached the level yet that he has wanted. Emmanuel Sandhu.
He's moving into his quad with pretty good speed here, but watch what happens in the air. He'll start to lean, falling off of his axis, and he's just too sluggish with the free foot, can't stop the rotation, and steps out of that. Very impressive with his spinning here. First, this is the camel spin, and then he goes down into a sit spin. Good low position, but it's hard to spin with your leg and back in that position. It really slows you down, but he's able to really keep the speed up throughout, so that was well done.
Yeah, you can see it written across his face, the anxiety as he waits for his marks now. And the crowd just getting their first look at these marks were required elements, and they don't like them at all.
Well, they're just getting hammered for those mistakes on the jumps. Coming out on the first mark here, but I'll tell you, his presentation is good, and these are definitely going to go up. Look at what he is capable of doing if he could couple good jumps with his skating. Very unfortunate.
Presentation marks 4.9 up to 5.5. So Emmanuel Sandhu into 6th place overall so far. Making his way out to the ice, Alexei Yagudin, the 3-time and reigning world champion. No signs so far of the foot injury. He was able to warm up backstage. He is next. What's up?
Terry, I just talked to Yagudin's doctor again. The latest word as he prepared to take the ice, the right foot is okay. It's not bothering him. He said he's ready to go.
Thanks, Melissa. Here he is. The 3-time world champion going for title number 4 all in a row. Championship since Kurt Browning did it, the first to win 4 in a row since Scott Hamilton.
He will open up with a quadruple toe loop, triple toe loop. He will jab the left foot in to get up into the air, but land on the right foot. The first, the second, he gets through it. Circular footwork section. This might be tricky. He has to pick in with the right foot here to get up in the air, and he gets through there. Happy because that takes a lot of pressure to get in the air off that right foot.
Versus Yevgeny Plashenko in major events this season. Yagudin says he gears everything toward the World Championships. That's when he wants to be ready.
But look at him. He just pours his heart out.
with passion in his skating. Fantastic.
Wow. That performance as Tatiana Tarasova, his coach, watches from right beside the rink was not about triple jumps or spins or elements. It was all about heart and guts.
And did he show all of that? Outstanding performance by Yagudin. Back up against the wall, and he just came out swinging.
Standing ovation here in Vancouver for the three-time world champion. What a comeback performance. Peter, he was as bad as he could possibly be in the qualifying round. He even shocked himself, and to come back, the injury, the painkiller, the shot into his foot, and to skate like that, that is incredible.
Great height on this quadruple toe loop. This is the first part of the combination. But what's amazing is how close he gets to the boards. His left foot almost hits the boards right there, but he never loses his focus. And then this triple axel really gets up into the air. Great snap on that, and a solid landing. This was tough because the right foot has to pick in. That's his injured foot, but he got right through it, blocking out the pain, and he's psyched at that moment because that was an important jump to get through. Here's Yagudin's quadruple toe loop with ESPN Stro Motion presented by Chevy. What's amazing about this jump is look at the third frame. From the time that he picks in to the next frame, he's got his legs and arms coming together to generate that rotation. And then he bends low for the second part of that jump.
The marks for required elements.
You just saw the reason why this man has won this title the past 3 seasons. 21 years of age. From St. Petersburg, Russia, now living in the U.S. The marks for required elements. Look at those.
5-8 all the way across the board with a 5-6, but I guarantee you the second set of marks have got to be better. His artistry presentation, so good. I'm surprised that there are not more 5-9s there.
3 5-9s, the rest 5.8 for Alexei Yagudin, who stands and waves to the crowd here in Vancouver.
Thank you.
Steps out onto the ice right now. 24-year-old Alexander Apt from Moscow. Finished 4th in his qualifying group. This is a skater who placed 6th at the World Championships last season in Nice.
Triple axel, triple toe loop. Speed could have been a little bit better on the second combination, but complete. Now his quad, right there, you can see the 2-foot landing, and he did not get around on that. 3 3/4 rotation.
Hasn't been able to do that quad throughout the season in major competitions. A disappointing year for him. Guy placed 6th at the Worlds last year, but didn't place any higher than 4th at any of the Grand Prix events, the major series that runs throughout the year. And years of injuries, one injury after another throughout his career. Finally, the last 2 seasons, he has been healthy. Healthy, that's a relative term. He's had a sinus infection. Remember at the European Championships, Peter, he actually had to have his sinuses drained. They put a needle through his face to get to the sinuses and drain them. Painful procedure, and he said it still bothers him.
double axel right there. But you can see he just doesn't have the energy and the excitement in his skating that Yagudin has. And what Yagudin creates is so awe-inspiring in men's figure skating. Well, he's pretty excited about that performance. However, his quad toe gave him problems.
Young man who was placed just behind Plushenko and Yagudin at the Russian Nationals the past 2 seasons, Alexander Apt.
This is the triple axel, 3.5 rotations. He gets through this jump nicely, but he really should have had more speed coming out of the first jump so that he could have better speed coming out of the second. Wants to work on that in the future for sure. And then on this quadruple toe loop, a bent leg on the takeoff. Watch how he lands, and he's not all the way around. That's 3 3/4, and the left foot touches down, so he'll take a deduction right there.
5-3.
Remember, this short
5-2,
program sets up the men's
5-1,
free skate.
5-2,
The championship to be decided over on ABC Sports
4-9,
Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock
5-3,
Eastern,
5-2,
along with the pairs free
5-3.
skate. The first set now,
The match
perhaps,
for presentation.
4.9 to 5.3.
5-6.
Alexander just now catching his breath, and the presentation marks much higher. 5.4 up to 5.7 for 24-year-old Alexander Apt. Yagudin has set the standard so far, but still to skate Elvis Stoyko, Todd Eldridge, and Timothy Gable. But up next, Yevgeny Plushenko, whose lifelong dream is to become world champion. Just don't ask him to talk about it.
So I didn't want to speak about this because it's, for me, bad luck, superstitious. But if I win, for me, of course, it's good. It's my dream. And my mother's dreams.
Go here in the men's short program, but first, let's quickly check in backstage with Melissa Stark.
Terry, thanks. What a gutsy performance by Alexei Yagudin. Did you even shock yourself out there?
Actually, first of all, hi, Terry, and yeah, I shocked myself and I shocked my coach, but anyway, like, that's my work, and I know it was the worst day in my life yesterday, but I think a human person have to have the worst day in their life, so I can just keep looking forward to skate clean, free skating.
You were talking about the qualifying round, obviously. What has been your range of emotions from then until right now?
Actually, I can just describe this yesterday skating and today skating, just one word, wow. So wow was so incredible bad yesterday, and today was wonderful, and it wasn't quite excellent jumps, but anyway, I landed them and I skated clean, short.
The foot didn't look like it was bothering you at all. Will it bother you, do you think, for the rest of the week?
Yeah, actually, the injury just works, or injection works just for several hours, like 3-4. So then when the injection goes out, so it's a lot of pain, and I can't even walk. So I hardly walk to Starbucks today just to get cappuccino. And I think just injections, and that will save me at these World Championships.
Well, you've got a lot of heart. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Terry, back to you.
All right, Melissa, thanks. I think wow kind of says it all. Yeah, Yagudin with that performance. But here is Yevgeny Plushenko, who has beaten Yagudin 3 out of 3 times this season in major competitions. Plushenko comes in having not lost all season long. He was 15 years of age when he burst onto the world scene, taking the bronze medal at his first world championship back in '98. He's looking for his first world gold now.
Skating to Bolero, and something else to consider. He's really one of the only men that has not had an injury this season. So his training has never been interrupted with an injury. He is in great shape. Opening combination, the quadruple toe loop, triple toe, great speed on both jumps.
Trying to erase the memory of Nice, last year's World Championship, when he blew up in the free skate, did not make it to the podium. He finished 4th.
Steps going into this triple Lutz, getting through it easily. Watch him take his leg and go up over his head.
Coached by Alexei Mishin, who used to be the coach, of course, for Alexei Yagudin as well. Two former training partners who are not too friendly these days.
You can just see the endurance that this man has at the end of his program. Not dropping off at all.
How do you split them, Peter?
Oh, you're going to ask me. I knew it. It's going to be so close. Plushenko went out there and performed all of his required elements. He might have edged Yagudin on the jumps, but I still like Yagudin's presentation better.
But the short program, of course, is about the required elements a little bit more than it is about the artistry. Correct?
That is true.
So we'll wait to see what the judges do. Remember, Plushenko has the edge. He won his qualifying group. Yagudin did not.
One thing I like about Plushenko's quad a little bit better than Yagudin's is the fact that he has it out in the ice further away from the board so he can have better run out on the landing of the second jump, the triple toe loop. And then this is the triple Lutz. Nice steps going right into that jump. And a good arm position at the end, right there. Here's Yagudin's quadruple toe loop with ESPN StroMotion presented by Chevy. What's amazing about this jump is look at the third frame. From the time that he picks in to the next frame, he's got his legs and arms coming together to generate that rotation. And then he bends low for the second part of that jump.
The marks for required.
Well, you said it is going to be awfully close. How they split them here in the short program. We'll see what the judges think right now. The first set for required elements. Remember, Yagudin had a 5.6, the rest 5.8.
5.8.
The range 5.7 to 5.9 for Plushenko.
5.7, 5.8, 5.8.
Interesting to
Marks
see
for presentation.
5/8 for the required elements, and then
5.9.
Alexei Mishin is coach on the right side of your screen. Presentation marks now 5.8s, 5.9s. He actually has 4 5.9s. So Plushenko edges out Yagudin here in the short. The men's short program continues with the American champion taking the ice. Timothy Gable is next here in Vancouver.
Our next competitor from the United States, Timothy.
Meanwhile, this
Gable.
crowd just now catching its breath. Plushenko in the lead over Alexei Yagudin and Yunfei Li of China in third. But here is the U.S. champion. 20 years of age, originally from Rolling Meadows, Illinois. Now trains out in El Segundo, California. Here is Timothy Gable. Gable, of course, the only man to pull off 3 quads in one program, known for his quads, and he was able to complete 2 in his qualifying round, where he placed 3rd in his group.
And he'll continue on with those quads right here. It's the first element in his program. This, the quadruple Salchow. Triple toe, kind of coming to a standstill on the second jump. The triple flip.
Well, he's really turned things around. He was struggling so badly coming into this event. Really didn't skate all that well in winning his first gold medal at the Nationals, and then at the Grand Prix final in Tokyo, a very disappointing 5th place finish, but in the qualifying round, he was excellent, and so far here in the short program. Last year, he placed 11th, and that was really a disappointment for him at Worlds. So how do you like this skating so far?
I'll tell you exactly what I think. Timothy Gable completed his short program. It was a good short program, but I think his footwork sections lack a little bit. He doesn't have quick changes of position and tough footwork. So that may hold him down a little bit in this short program.
Plenty of American fans here north of the border cheering on the U.S. champion, Timothy Gable.
This is the opening combination, the quadruple Salchow. Beautiful rotation right there, stepping right up into the triple toe loop. You see how he goes up on the toe right there and almost comes to a standstill? He could have more run out right there. And then this triple axel right here, 3.5 rotations, a little bit bent over, but completed.
It's important what Timothy Gable does here along with what Todd Eldridge does, because you add those 2 placements together for the next year's Olympic Games. Those 2 placements can't total more than 13 if the U.S. are going to get 3 skaters into the Olympics. And that's true for every country here. How they dictate how many go from each country to the Olympic Games. Required element marks 5.5 to 5.7. As he sits alongside his coach, Frank Carroll.
5.4, 5.6.
And now for presentation, 5.4 up to 5.7. So Timothy Gable into 2nd place overall, right behind Plashenko. Still to skate here in Vancouver, the veterans, Elvis Stoico of Canada and Todd Eldridge of the U.S. Between them, they have won 4 world championships.
Honda.
So far, it's Yevgeny Plashenko leading Timothy Gable of the U.S., then Alexei Yagudin. That's your top 3 so far here in the men's short program. Terry Gannon back with Peter Carruthers and Melissa Stark. Don't forget the men's free skate over on ABC Sports Sunday afternoon, beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern. Here is Takeshi Honda, a 19-year-old originally from Japan. That's the country he represents, but he actually lives and trains here in Canada.
Don Quixote. You don't have to go very far when you analyze Honda's skating. His skating quality is great. It's the jumps that get the best of him. If he can get through the jumps, he should get good scores. Right here, quadruple toe loop. And right there, the fall again. Unfortunate. Just letting the nerves get the best of him.
Coached by Elvis Stoico's former coach, Doug Lee. Finished 10th at Worlds last season.
Hand touching down right there.
Wondering how Timothy Gable with his performance could have leapfrogged Alexei Yagudin after what he did in the short program. The judges put Yagudin ahead of Gable in the short, but because he was so far behind after the qualifying round, he is in third and Gable is ahead of him overall.
Getting warmed up toward the end of the program. Section here. Yeah, it's really just too bad because it undermines his artistry when he has those mistakes.
Well, and a lot of fans here supporting him, too, because he does live and train in Ontario, so they were hoping for a great performance. He's been a wild card, 11th in 98, 6th in 99, but then back down to a 10th place finish last season. Takeshi Honda. And there's the man that most of the folks here in Vancouver have come to see. Almost 16,000 in attendance, and they have waited all season long for this moment. Elvis Stoico steps onto the ice to compete for the first time all season. A series of injuries have kept him off the ice, but he says he is set, he is fit, and he is ready to go here in Vancouver.
Here's the quadruple toe loop. He had a hard fall on this. You can see him leaning toward the back of the skate. So he's on his way down toward the ice, can't get his balance, has a hard fall, 4/10 right there. Nice to do a spread eagle right there into the triple axel. Hard to do, but that hand going down will give 1 to 2/10, so up to 6/10 right there.
4-8.
Now the first
5-1,
set of marks.
4-7,
Takeshi knows that
4-7,
he could have done a whole lot better here in the
4-8,
short.
4-9,
And has many times. 4.7 to 5.1
4-9.
the range. Peter?
Terry, it's just so disappointing considering that he won the qualifying round, and then to see scores in the fours, total setback for him.
He's been up and down throughout his career. That's been the story for Takeshi. Presentation marks 5.4 to 5.7. He finds himself in 6th place overall right now. Amazing how long he has been around. He has won 3 times, and they're pleading with Elvis not to leave the building here. No chance of that. Among those 3 victories, though, was not one here in Canada. Never won in his home country. Competing for the first time all year. He had an Achilles tendon injury, a groin injury, then a partial tear in his left knee tendon. He knows what it is to come back from injury, though.
on the landing there.
Saw him shake his head at the end, getting up. And he was more shocked than anything else. But how difficult is it to come back to that, to gain your composure?
Well, for someone like Elvis Stojko to fall on the first jump in his program, it's really difficult to come back. He's got to get his focus, because this is going to be tough. Quadruple toe loop. And there, another fall. This is taking him out.
Came in second in his qualifying group and was solid, but not spectacular.
But it's unusual to see him back off. I don't feel he's really going after it. Focus isn't there. Footwork into the triple Lutz. Very tough, too, to crank it up at the World Championships. The fact that he's been injured all season, and this is the first competition of the year for him. It's like walking into a storm.
Well, you try to turn on that switch, not competing all year, and think that you can do it, and to call upon all your experience at this level and in this event, but didn't happen.
And I'm surprised, because I thought he was going to be able to keep his composure and perform what he needed to do to skate well, but he's looking at 0.8 of a point off the first mark.
Well, we'll come back to check the marks for Elvis Stojko, and then it's Todd Eldredge who will take the ice. He won his '96 world title here in Canada, and he is no stranger to Canadian skating fans.
I just realized this is my third Worlds in Canada. My first one was in '90 in Halifax, and then when I won in Edmonton, and here we are in Vancouver. So no, it's fun and it's exciting, and I'm real happy that you know, I am here, and that you know, things are going pretty well.
He doesn't get the height that he usually gets right here, and that left foot stays in front instead of coming him back to stop the rotation. Can't regain his composure, and the same thing happens right here on the quad. Look where that left foot is. It's still wrapped around the right foot. That's what the problem is. Here's Elvis Stojko's triple axel on ESPN Stro Motion, presented by Chevy. If you count 3 frames in, you can see his legs are almost in a split position. Then look in the 4th frame, the legs and arms coming in. That's what gets him that fast rotation. But he really starts to fall off at the end of the jump. Left foot doesn't come back, and he has a big fall.
The first set for required elements, and you know Elvis is going to struggle here because of the mistakes. They've got to take off the deductions.
5-0, 4-8,
And those are certainly
4-7,
lower than he
4-8,
had expected.
5-0,
Think about this.
4-9,
It's his 11th World
4-7.
Championships, and he's having to look at 4s
Yeah.
for required elements.
The air has just been let out of this building.
5-6.
Yeah, a little bit more pumped in because the presentation marks are higher, 5.4 up to 5.7. But Elvis Stojko, the 3-time world champ, all the way down in 8th place.
Thank you.
But it's Todd Eldredge who is up next. He has plenty of support here in Vancouver. Let's go over to Melissa to get more on that.
Terry, thanks. I'm joined by Ruth and John Eldredge, whose son Todd skated his best performance in the past 2 years in the qualifying round. What were your emotions during that?
We're very excited. He did a wonderful job. And, you know, I cried, of course. But it was great. We're really, really excited for him. It was wonderful.
Now, he said that the Worlds this year is not about medals. John, what is he trying to accomplish here?
He's just trying to do the best he can and keep competitive for the next year, and just sort of let the judges out and the people know that he's here and he wants to do the best he can.
Of course, he's got his eyes on the Olympics. Thanks very much. Enjoy the competition.
Thank you.
Terry, back to you.
Our next competitor from the United States, Todd Eldridge.
Well, Melissa, I'll never forget the image of Todd placing the gold medal around the neck of his mother after winning the World Championships in Edmonton in '96. Washchenko leads right now. Then Timothy Gable of the U.S. and Alexei Yagudin. That's your top three. Eldridge stole the show in the qualifying round. 29 years of age.
He will not do the quad in this short program. He has the triple flip, triple toe plan at the beginning of the program. Jump, the second, just cruises right through it. Exactly what he needs to do to execute these elements.
He's been dealing with an injured left ankle since the U.S. Nationals, really. He was forced to withdraw in the middle of the Four Continents Championship and withdrew before the Grand Prix final. Says there is some pain, but no sharp pain now when he's on the ice. And is that what he does best right there, Peter?
His spinning definitely helps with the overall mark. The judges truly respect the rate of speed in which he spins. The judges see. Outstanding.
His performance in the qualifying round was his best since the '98 World Championships, where he captured a silver medal in Minneapolis. He may have just matched it here in the short program. His mom and dad, Ruth and John, among those in the crowd standing and cheering Todd Eldridge. He's won 5 medals at the World Championships, and he's looking for his second gold medal. He has been terrific so far.
Here's the opening triple flip, triple toe loop. He doesn't rush the timing. He really skates within what he needs to do to complete these jumps, and that's so important not to rush the jump. Very nice right there. And then again, he was a little cautious skating into this, but he is so in tune with his balance, gets up into the air nicely right there for a beautiful triple axel. Here's a look at Todd Eldridge's triple axle on ESPN Stro Motion presented by Chevy. What I find amazing is, look at the takeoff, how he skids in the second frame. That's what vaults him up into the air. Nice coverage across the ice, and then a good landing.
The marks for Todd Eldridge.
All right, before we get the marks, who would you give the edge to, Plushenko or Eldridge?
I preferred Eldridge's performance because he really connects with the audience and the judges, and that's what skating's about. I know the quads are important, but Eldridge really delivered a fine short program.
All right, we'll see if the judges agree with you. They've been giving Plushenko the nod all season long. Plushenko really hadn't lost anywhere but at the Worlds in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, right there you could see.
There you go, the marks for required elements. Well, those are lower than the crowd expected, that's for sure.
5.5. The marks for
Got a
presentation.
5.9, but down to 5. How do you give him a 5.4?
Wow, that's, yeah.
5.8.
And now the second set for presentation, a 5.3 all the way up to 5.9. Look at the range in judges' placements from first to seventh.
So I wasn't that far off. There was a first in there, but it is very confusing at this point to see a 7th place.
Overall, Eldridge in second place. Judging. It's not unusual to see marks that you don't agree with, but Todd Eldridge receiving placements ranging from first to 7th place. How does that happen?
Well, I think what you're seeing here is the judges putting a lot of emphasis on the quad, at least as far as the judge that put him in 7th is concerned. But you can argue that his spins were that much better than some of the other men. So I'm sorry to see that they're looking at the quad only. Remember, skating is a complete package, required elements and presentation.
Though that's true, you think the strategy that he had not to do the quad but just to skate cleanly, the judges may be sending a message about that?
As far as I'm concerned, put all that aside. Todd Eldridge went out there and skated a fine short program. He executed all of the elements, and he finished with a great spin.
So we'll ask Todd. Melissa Stark standing by with Todd Eldridge right now. Melissa?
Terry, thanks very much. Todd Eldridge skating beautifully here. You have put together two just very emotional programs. This is where you won your world title in Canada. Is there something about skating in front of this crowd?
Well, I'll tell you, it seems like there is. You know, I yesterday and today, and I won my world title here, like you said, and you know, the fans just are unbelievable. You know, you get out there and they're so knowledgeable, and the energy in the building is fantastic. It feels good to be out there.
Recently, there's been so much emphasis put on the quad. You haven't even attempted it. Do you think that strategy's backfired? Maybe the reason why you're in second, not in first?
Well, you know, who can say? You know, if I would have tried it and fallen, I could be in 7th or 8th right now. So, you know, I think it was smart to leave it out and you know, hopefully, you know, with the strategy that I've taken and with Tim's placement, we can earn 3 spots for Olympics.
Well, we'll have to see if you attempt it in the free skate.
Maybe so.
Back to you, Terry.
All right, Melissa. Eldridge, though, within striking distance. He is in second place right behind the leader, Yevgeny Plushenko. Then Alexei Yagudin, a great performance in the short. He is ahead of Timothy Gable. Elvis Stoico finds himself all the way down in 10th place. The free skate comes your way Sunday afternoon over on ABC Sports beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. When we come back to Vancouver, we'll preview the ladies' competition with Michelle Kwan going for her 4th World Championship. Back in a moment.